Hi, it's Erica with Presence in Parenting. Today I'm answering your questions. I got a question about helping children feel responsible for their own stuff. It started out being a cleanup question, like my child refuses to put things away, but then talking to the parent a little bit more, we kind of honed in on the idea of that the child doesn't feel responsible for their own shoes, for their own stuff, for their toys. They just kind of leave it around and somebody else will take care of it. So instead of this being a video about how to help your child put their stuff away, I really want to focus this video more on responsibility and the idea of responsibility. So, sorry, I got a little choked up because it's so important. One of the things that I talk about in my breakthrough parenting class is responsibility literally means the ability to respond appropriately to any given situation. How important is this going to be for your child growing up? Let's just think about that for 1 second, okay? This century has already showed us so much about how fast things are changing and how much things are going to change, not only in terms of education, not only in terms of technology, not only in terms of the workforce, but relationships. Everything is changing so fast that we're going to have to really work on our ability to adapt and our ability to respond to many different kinds of situations. So teaching your child to grow up to be a responsible person isn't just about let's make money and be a successful citizen. That I think still has carried on into this century. But I think the idea of responsibility has also grown in that we're going to need to really use our own abilities in many different contexts more and more, and we're going to have to be able to adapt to different situations and to get creative so much more quickly than we have in the past. That this is something really important to focus on and help teach your children. Okay, so responsibility, very important. When it comes to children, we kind of think of responsibility as going in scales, okay? When you have an infant, they are actually not responsible for anything. I think we could all agree about that, right? As they get older, right, they become a little bit more responsible for certain things, okay? Let's think of a toddler, right? Toddlers are now more responsible for their own body in a couple of ways. They can move around on their own, right? They don't need you to carry them around and move them from place to place anymore. But they're also becoming more responsible for their body in terms of toilet learning, which is going to be a whole other video, and I'm not going to go into it right here. However, I do want to shed light on from very early on. These ideas about responsibility can be implemented. If a toddler spills water or milk on a table, we can help them learn that they have some ability to help clean that up. If we walk around cleaning everything up for them because we're worried they won't do it well or we don't want to bother them, they're just going to make more of a mess. I hear that one a lot from parents. We're actually taking away the opportunity for them, though, to learn how to clean it up well. So we can start from very early on, giving them a little bit more responsibility. Once you hit your teenage years, you want the responsibility scales to start tipping the other way. Okay, this is how we're going to help a child grow into a responsible adult. If we're still not holding them responsible for much when they're a tween or a teenager, we're again keeping time away from them to be able to learn how to grow into a responsible human being. So we want the scales to start tipping once they reach their teenage years where they're responsible for more of themselves, their life, their possessions than you are. This translates over into school, doing homework. Are they responsible for turning in their homework, or is that your job? Think about it. Let's talk about it. Write a comment. We can continue this part of the conversation. I think that's a huge one, homework. So toilet learning's a huge one, homework's a huge one. All of these things about responsibility are going to translate into the adult you want your child to grow into. So I want us to hold in mind when they're leaving their shoes around or they're leaving their toys out, what is the message that they're sending you? What are they telling you about how they feel about their own things? Do they actually have the ability to put these things away? Sometimes yes, and they're just not doing it. Other times, maybe they don't actually quite know how to come home and put their things away. Maybe that's something that they have not learned. Maybe it's something that we haven't taught. Think about what's actually going on when you see these behaviors in your child, and we can then come from a deeper place of meeting their need so we can help shift the behavior. All right. So if they're not picking up their stuff, if you're noticing that they're leaving their things all over the place, if their room is a mess, that's another one, especially going into the teenage years, that I hear more and more and more, but she doesn't take care of her room. His room is a mess. Why? Why? Why are we not feeling responsible for our own things? I want us to think about that. I want us to keep talking about it. So write a comment here, find me on Facebook, send me a message, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and we'll keep this conversation going. Every time I post a new video, you'll see what we're talking about, and you can join the conversation. So all of this information can help you and your family. That's why I'm doing this, all right? So I hope that this helped shed a little bit light on responsibility. We'll keep talking about it, and I'll see you later.